Hello, this is your friend and brother, V. Simpson Turner Jr. Welcome you to the Public Wants to Know show. And today we're going to talk about the plight of the African American farmer in our country. As many of you know, that there has been food shortages around our nation, and as we spoke on a series before in the Public Wants to Know show, we talked about that many of the food banks were running low on food, and a lot of the farmers, especially commercial establishments and the large farms, were throwing away crops and destroying crops and pouring out milk and on a daily basis. And there has been a very slow attempt to get the food from the commercial establishments to the food banks so that many of the people in our nation can be fed during this perilous time. And as a result, the African American farmer has not had the kind of support that the commercial farmer has. They have not had the opportunity to have a bailout package as some of the larger farms, as well as the larger corporations, have had. And many of them have very small farms, and they are in jeopardy of losing their farms. John Boyd, the president of the Black Farmers Association, talked about that farmers get paid twice a year, June and in October. And many of them are in jeopardy now because they have an excess amount of crops, but nowhere to uh, export them to. And they are not able to, pay for their equipment and other things, and they're in jeopardy of losing their farms. And many know that the commercial farmers and others have recently received some assistance from the federal government to be able to get uh, the food that they have and the crops that they have to local food banks. There's been a plan to get that implemented, but has excluded the black farmer. And the black farmers date all the way back historically to after the Emancipation Proclamation. Many of the Africans that were brought here against their will and were enslaved after the Emancipation Proclamation. Many, and during the period of Reconstruction, many were set free, and many of them obtained land. Who the very few who were fortunate to do it, the others were not as fortunate, and they went about and were placed in society without anywhere to go, without any education, without any homes. But the very few that were able to obtain land, they became farmers. And as a result of it, at the beginning of the 19th century, over 20 million acres of land were obtained by African American farmers. And now, here in the 21st century, there is roughly 3 million acres of land that is owned by African Americans. So, as a result of their ownership, they have had to struggle to keep their farms together, and they're in a terrible situation right now. And so we are hoping that our government will rescue these African American farmers because they are certainly very vital to the economy of the United States of America, as well as they are a very vital part to the African American community. And so we are hoping that our government will, in its next stimulus package, because there's nothing that's been done for the African American farmer, that our congressional and Senate persons will consider the African American farmer, and some sort of stimulus package will include them to help them during this very perilous time. So here we are again This has been your friend and brother, V. Simpson Turner Jr. at the Public Wants to Know show, reminding you to stay tuned for the next exciting show that we will have. And we don't you ever forget, it will get better.